ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Technical Presentation Skills, where in this lecture we will review fundamental oral presentation skills. So what you will learn in this lecture is the bare essentials. So we'll talk a little bit how to design visual aids effectively, such that we put readability first. We'll talk about how to select fonts. We'll also talk a little bit about the use of graphics, and we do this very early on because these are the skills that you will need to present and prepare your own seminar presentations then. So up front, what we don't provide. I don't really provide a design cookbook for visual aids, and that is so that you can either find your own style, maybe using the guidelines that I present, but also very frequently as a working engineer or scientist, the fundamental design of your visual aids will actually be forced upon you by the corporate identity of the company or the university, for that matter, that you work for. The most important message, by my opinion, when designing visual aids for technical and scientific presentations is really simplicity. So this means, in a nutshell, that you should have no more than one important point per visual, that you should allow approximately 1 minute per visual. So this is easy to remember, one important point, 1 minute per visual, that you should be aware that fancy visuals with very elaborate backgrounds, for example, will introduce visual clutter, which might very well distract from the message that you're trying to send. You should particularly be extremely careful when you are using motion as part of your visuals for the following reasons. If you present motion really on the periphery of your slides, then invariably your audience will constantly look there. This is something that is actually hardwired into our brains, because in the old days of the saber-toothed tiger, motion in our peripheral field of vision typically meant danger. So we had to look there in order to potentially defend ourselves. And this, again, this is hardwired. There's nothing your audience can do. And you can test that yourself. You can, of course, use motion in the center area of your presentation. This is, for the same reason, a very powerful attention getter, and we'll get closer into this. But really, you should be aware of the power that this has, and therefore use it very cautiously. Another important point when designing your visuals is readability. First of all, but I think in the time of computer-based projections, this is commonplace now. You should really use landscape orientation only. Color is a nice thing, but color should not be essential to your presentation. If you're using colors, then restrict yourself to a few, let's say the 4 cardinal colors, but we'll again get into this. You should check the colors on an appropriate projector, and then stick with the colors that have sufficient contrast. Please, in any case, make sure that your visuals will also be meaningful in black and white, and there's a simple reason for that. Very frequently, you or the conference organizer or whoever will produce handouts from the visuals that you presented, and they are most typically printed, for cost reasons, in black and white. You should never fill the projector area to the rim. That's another common principle.